All right. Good morning, everyone. I see some familiar names in the audience. We are going to get started in about one more minute. Um, this was kind of an impromptu session because Clubhouse is kind of new and a lot of people are trying to figure out how to use it, especially how to use it for ministry. So we're going to do a one-on-one basic run through of what exactly the platform is, and then to talk about a few strategies that you can use to leverage it for your media, for your ministry. So my name is LaKesha Womack. For any of you in the room that don't know me or haven't met me yet, I love social media. I love engaging with people through technology. And whenever a new platform comes along, I always go and create a profile on that platform. And so some people are like, well, why do you do that? Whether I'm going to use it or not, I always go and create a profile and reserve my name. So almost any social media platform that you go to, there are a few that I didn't make it to. But if you type in LaKesha Womack, like my profile is going to come up whether I'm active on it or not. And what that does is it helps me to control my brand. So I don't have to worry about if there's another LaKesha Womack who spells her name like my name, having my name on that social platform. So when they started telling me about Clubhouse, someone sent me an invitation, and that was one of the things that I did. And then I started playing around with it and saw how it was experiencing exponential growth. And I saw a lot of ministry type rooms happening on there, and some of them were positive and some of them were kind of negative just because of the type of content that the ministries were putting out in the rooms. And so I wanted to give you guys kind of a basic walkthrough of what the app is and what you can do with it so that you kind of don't end up on the receiving end of that ickiness that we called it this morning. So we have Clubhouse 101. First of all, as you guys know, you have to have an iPhone or an Apple product in order to use Clubhouse. So it is not available for Android yet. So some people, if they have, say, an iPad or they have a MacBook, they'll use that to create their Clubhouse profile. But you do have to have an Apple product. You also have to be invited. So you can sign up and then it'll put you on the wait list. And if someone has your phone number, then it will show up to them that you're on the wait list and they can approve you to join. So I let anybody in. If I see somebody on the wait list, like I'm letting them in, because if you went through the trouble of creating a profile, then you obviously want to be in. And so come on in. But the challenging part for a lot of people is, what do you do once you're in the application? So the first thing you want to do is create an engaging profile. Clubhouse is different from other apps in that people can search, they can search emojis. So you'll see, and I'll make the connection a little bit later, but you'll see that I have like the fire symbol, I have the light bulb, I have the target, because when people go into the search and they're searching for people, they can put in the fire symbol, they can put in the light bulb, and it will show them all the people who have also used that emoji. So if they're, and again, I'm going to show you guys how that connects in just a moment, but when you're creating your profile, think about different emojis that go with the different descriptions of what you do. This is one of the platforms where your bio can't be too long. However, the first 2 to 3 sentences should be like your call to action, because when people are in a room and they click on your image, before they read the full profile, they're only going to see the first 2 or 3 lines. So you want to make sure that the first 2 or 3 lines is something that's engaging and it's going to make them want to see your full profile so that they can decide whether or not to follow you. Does that make sense to everyone? And if you guys have questions, you can type them in the chat, or we'll do questions at the end. And if you guys want to come on stage and share your video, you can do that as well. But we're going to save that until the end. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you connect your Twitter and your Instagram. I don't think it allows you to not have at least one connected, but the reason that you want to connect your social profiles is because that's the way people can actually communicate with you. Unlike most other social profiles, Clubhouse does not have a DM, they don't have a private messaging, they don't have any text features. So there's no way that you can send someone a message within the app. So I've seen like people who have links in their app, they also don't have hyperlinks. So if someone can't go in and click on a hyperlink, or, you know, they would have to do like a hold down and copy and paste. People aren't doing all of that. So if you want someone to connect with you, like let's say you're on stage and you're pitching for a product, then you can say, hey, you know, go to my Instagram and send me a direct message. Go to my Twitter and send me a direct message. Those are the ways that people can communicate with you directly. They can't send you direct messages. So you want to decide if you're going to be responsive to your Twitter direct messages or your Instagram direct messages. Then the next thing you want to do is adjust your settings. So Clubhouse can send you a lot of notifications. So you want to decide the frequency that you want to get messages. You also want to decide if you want to include trending rooms. You can pause your notifications, and then you can also select your interests. So this is going to tell you the type of content that you're going to see. So you want to make sure that you adjust the settings for the type of content and the frequency that you want to see that content, because some people don't want to be notified every time like something happens. They only want to be notified like maybe once a day, or they don't want any notifications. Just when they go into the app, then they'll see what is happening at that time. Then you want to find your interest. So as I was mentioning about the different icons, so you'll see that the fire icon is for hustle. And then if you're interested in world affairs, then you would use the globe. If you're interested in faith, then you would use the dove. So people who are searching for faith, for people who are interested in faith, then they're going to search for the dove. People who are interested in sports communities, they're going to use the trophy. And when you click on each of these, then it also gives you a breakdown of the different conversations within those major topics. So again, as you're creating your profile, you want to connect what you're interested in with the types of conversations that people are searching for. So one thing that I don't recommend people to do is to follow everyone that they know. So it really makes no sense, right? So if you're following, you know, someone on Facebook, you're following them on Instagram, you're following them on Twitter, you kind of know what they're talking about. So unless they are like an expert in that area, or, you know, someone who is like, wow, you know, like they really provide a lot of value, so I know like in this space they're going to provide value. But if they're just someone who is like in there, you know, just listening, and they're not providing, you know, they're not starting rooms, or they're not participating in rooms, then this isn't one of those where, and if you were in Robin Ware's session just a few minutes ago, she talked about it. This, you don't need like 6,000 people. Like we're so, you know, caught up in trying to have like, you know, 1,000 followers here and 500 followers there. But if it's not your tribe, if you're not connected with people who are sharing content that you're actually interested in, then it really doesn't do you any good to have a bunch of people that you're following for no reason. Because one of the things that Clubhouse does, the people that you're following, if they join a room, they're going to send you a notification if you have that turned on. So what they call it is the hallway. So your hallway is going to be populated based on what the people that you're following are participating in. So like, let's say I'm following Brandon and he's in a manifesting your vision room, then that's the room that's going to appear in my hallway. If I'm following Sharon and she's in a women in business room, then that's what's going to show up in my hallway. So, you know, there's some people that you might see some stuff in your hallway and you're like, how did this get here? Like, you know, what is this? It's probably because of someone that you're following. They're in that room, and so it's showing you, because it's like a clubhouse, like where your friends are hanging out, then that's where you should be hanging out. So if you start to notice that, you know, there's some content that you're really not that interested in, then you want to check like who is in that room that you're following that's interested in this information. So you don't need to follow, you know, 1,000 people. Find people who are participating in rooms and starting rooms that you're actually interested in, because that's going to make a big difference in the type of content that you see. Any questions so far? Again, if you have questions, type them in the chat and I would love to answer them for you as we're going through. So once you figure out who you're following, you want to join clubs. So there are like thousands of clubs in Clubhouse. So figure out, what are you interested in? One of the interests that I found in Clubhouse is real estate investing. I didn't realize how much I don't know about real estate investing. So there's like women in wealth and, Black women in real estate investing. There are real estate investment clubs. And so those are the ones that are really interesting to me. And so like sometimes in the evening when I'm cooking, I'll put my headphone on and just listen to conversations about, different strategies for real estate investing. I learned a lot about wholesaling. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but when you see like those signs that say, we buy your houses for cash, like that's called wholesaling. And so there are rooms where people talk about like the whole strategy around like, how do you do that? How do you generate wealth from wholesaling? I had no idea that that even existed. So that's why it's important. If there is an interest that you have, this is the perfect place for you to join clubs around that interest. If you are trying to start a business, then there are there are millions of, not millions, but there are lots of business rooms that you can follow. So if you want to start a ministry club, you can absolutely create your own club. And so what your club does is it allows you to aggregate people who are interested in that topic, and then they can start rooms under the banner of your club. So if you have, if you say you want to have like a teen tech ministry, which, Crystal is doing a session on that right now. But if you want to, have a room dedicated to, resources for doing like teenage engagement and ministry, and you want people to start conversations around that topic, then you can create a room for that. If you want to have a women in ministry group, you can start you can start a club for that. So I know like there are some women that I'm connected with and they've started like womanist rooms. There are some people who have like podcasts, and so they've started clubs around their podcasts. So the club is kind of like the container that holds the rooms. Of course, you can start rooms that are not affiliated with a club, but if you start a room within a club, then all the members who are in that club will also see your room. So again, that's how your hallway is going to be populated. So because I'm in like some investing rooms, even if I'm not following any of the people who are part of that club, then I will still see the rooms that are started as a part of that club. So there's like a Charlotte Connects or something like that room club that I joined. And even though I don't follow any of the people in there, I still see whenever they're having conversations about what's happening in Charlotte. So when you go, let me see what that icon looks like. So when you click on your interest, then it will allow you to see some of the clubs that are developed around those interests. So you can follow clubs that are geared toward your interests. Any questions about clubs? So remember the difference between clubs and rooms. Clubs is like the container, and then rooms are the actual spaces that you go into to get the information. Yeah, so there are like a lot of political rooms. So if you're interested in advocacy, if you're interested in running for political office, like they have some great rooms and they do like regular conversations. Another great thing that people love about Clubhouse, and I think the reason that it's so popular is because Clubhouse is like, I consider it podcasting with a live audience. So you can have a conversation around anything, but unlike podcasting where it's only the people that you invite to be your guests, you can have, up to, I've seen like thousands of people in a room that are listening into your conversation, but then you can also bring them to the stage. And we're going to get into that next. But if you're trying to figure out like, all right, I'm still confused, like what is this Clubhouse? It's like hosting a podcast or listening in to live podcasts. You can't record within the platform. So I think like there are some people who do record, or like they might record on a separate device, but there isn't a record feature that I'm aware of in the platform. So whatever is being talked about, it is a live conversation. So a lot of people like that as well. And that's one of the reasons that you might see someone program like, manifesting your vision, and they do it like every day, because just because like we have manifesting your vision on Monday, that doesn't mean that everybody who wants to have that conversation was in it. So by people doing the same sessions every day, then it opens their network up to new people having that conversation. So you don't have to come up with, something new and snazzy jazzy every time you start a room. You can say, okay, this is a conversation that I want to have, and we're going to have it every Monday at 7 o'clock. So it doesn't have to be new. You can put a different spin on it, have different guests or co-hosts with you, but you can have like the same topic, because you're going to generate different people to be a part of it, because most people are not online at the same time all the time. So how do you find a room? So this is what your hallway looks like. So once you log into the app, then you will see events that have been scheduled, so what's about to happen, and then you'll also see the conversations that are live. So you can kind of scroll through and see, what people are talking about right now. The wonderful thing is like if you go into a room and things start to go left, like you can leave quietly, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But even if you like go through your list and you're like, yeah, I'm not really interested in any of this, there's a little button at the bottom that says explore. So once you click on the explore, that's going to show you the conversations that are happening that you're not connected to. So that would be rooms that don't have anyone that you know in them, or clubs that have rooms that you are not a part of the club. So that's also a great way to expand your reach. If you're just like, yeah, I'm not feeling any of the conversations that are happening right now, let me explore and see what else is out there. And that's actually how I found a lot of these real estate rooms, because I clicked on the explore and I was like, wow, like there's some really good conversations going on around this. And then you can start to follow and build your tribe with people who are having conversations around the things that you're interested in, instead of, like I said, just following the people that you already know. So you can find a room, and once you are in the room, oh my goodness, this is where it gets a little nerve-wracking for people, because once you're in the room, you can actually request to speak. Right. So some people who, might be a little shy, they're like, oh, I don't know about going on the stage. But if you have a question, like one of my clients was on, she was hosting a room, and she's like amazing. And she said something. I was like, oh, let me ask a question because I needed clarification. And while I was on there, she was telling everyone about the amazing work that we do together. And I got followers, and even, picked up a client from that. So if you're asking a question, then people are going to naturally want to see who you are. So they're going to click on your picture, and that's when those first 2 or 3 lines are going to pop up. So again, that's why you want your profile to be complete, because you want people to be like, oh, who is that LaKesha Womack person? And then if they're interested, then they're going to open it up, and that's their opportunity to follow you. So then they start to see the information or the rooms that you're joining and the information that you're putting out. And that's how you start to grow your tribe, because you're connecting with like-minded people. One of the things that you can also do when you're in the room and there are people on the stage, then you want to click on the moderators. So the little green asterisk symbol, that means that that person is the moderator of the session. So you want to click on their profile. Click on their profile also to see, is this person credible to talk about what they're talking about? So I was in a room on publishing, and as most of you guys know, I offer publishing consulting. And the guy was giving advice, like he was like this publishing guru, but the information that he was giving was like bad and wrong. And one of the things he said, he was like, yeah, since I've been in this room, my book has become an Amazon bestseller because all of you guys are going online and buying it right now. And it's like, Yeah, probably like that's probably not realistic because one, there weren't that many people in the room, and to get to bestseller status, you have to have a couple of hundred sales. So you want to make sure if you go into a room and people are giving advice, that you click on their profile to make sure that they're credible to give that advice, because there are some people who are, just like in life and every other social media platform, they're on there hyping themselves up and they're just not being truthful. So make sure that you check the credibility of the people who are on there. You can also, again, because like they have their social media, their Instagram and their Twitter handles on there, you can go check out like their Instagram. You can check out their Twitter. And the great thing about Clubhouse is even if you go outside of the app, it continues to play. So you don't have to worry about clicking on someone's Instagram and then the conversation stopping, or clicking on their Twitter. You can even like go check your email. You can go check your text. You can do other things while that application is still playing. So if someone's giving advice, if someone's trying to sell something, if someone's trying to get you to sign up for their course, do your due diligence before you actually engage in giving them any type of resources, or before you actually take their advice. Make sure that they are who they say they are, because there are a lot of people who are on Clubhouse just trying to hustle people out of money. Like there's, one room about, how you can make, $1 million selling a $2 product on Amazon. Like, yeah, that may be valid, but, is that the type of business that you want to be in? So make sure that you are checking out the people who are on the stage and who are speaking, because you can actually end up in some rooms with some really amazing people and follow them, start conversation with them, or follow their rooms, follow their and add yourself to the stage, ask questions, make a connection, and really build your community. I know there's one person, and I don't know if she's in the room, but she's on Clubhouse, and she's actually made 3 sales for her service just from being on Clubhouse. So you can definitely get business if you're offering a product or service. You can definitely build your community. So again, if you have like a ministry topic that you want to have regular conversation about, you can build community through Clubhouse. But you just want to make sure that you are connecting with people who are like-minded, and don't get yourself caught up in a scam. So for the different rooms, like you'll see the little button that says rules. So there are some rooms where they have rules about whether or not you can speak, or if you can ask questions or not. So before you like add yourself to the stage, make sure that you click on the rules to kind of see what the rules are for that room. You'll see that there are some profiles, and I don't think any of these have it. There are some profiles that will have the little party hat symbol, and that means, oh yeah, Ruthie, she has a little party symbol. That means that she's only been on Clubhouse for a week. So your first week, if you're haven't signed up already, you'll have like that little party hat symbol, and that lets people know that you're new to Clubhouse. There are tons of rooms for people who are new on Clubhouse. So if you want to connect with other new people, then you can definitely join one of those rooms. They're happening all the time. So the first group of people are the people who are on the stage. So those are the people who can speak. If you find yourself on the stage, the first thing you want to do is mute your microphone, because Clubhouse doesn't automatically mute you. So you don't want to like be embarrassed because like, your dog starts barking while somebody else is talking. So if you decide to, go on stage, make sure that you mute yourself. The second group of people that you'll see are people who are followed by the speakers. So, that will kind of let you know, like, those are like, so Suzanne's followers would be in that second tier of people. So that lets you know, like, oh, these people are connected to the people who are on the stage. And then the third group of people, which I don't think shows on this slide, are the people who are just like in the room, just random people who joined into the conversation. So one of the young ladies that I know, she always says, click on the person to your left and click on the person to your right to meet someone new. And I found that to be really helpful as well. Like normally I'll just go through and like click on people's images and read their bios, like as the people are talking, to see like, are some of these people that I want to add to my community. So that's a great strategy while you're in the room. at the bottom, you'll see that it has like the little hand raise for you to leave quietly. So, if you're in a room, the conversation isn't really what you thought it would be. It's not one of those where you have to like tiptoe out. You just click leave quietly and you're back to the hallway. You can also click on the little plus symbol. So the plus symbol allows you to add other people to the room. So if you're like, oh my goodness, this conversation is so good, I know someone who needs to be in this room, you can click on the plus symbol and you can ping them. So they'll get a message saying, hey, LaKesha's inviting you, to come into this conversation. And then you can click on the little hand raise symbol. And so that is if you want to join as a speaker. So if you have a question, you want to add value, like I've had people come to the stage because they're like, I feel like I can add some value to what you're talking about. So you can raise your hand, and then the moderator, the people with the little green icons, have the option of adding you to the stage. And then you'll be able to speak when given the opportunity. Does that make sense to everybody? I know this can be quite a bit of information. So give me a yes if you're following. Give me a no if you have questions, or type your question. Awesome, awesome. So once you're in the app, you will get invitations. So I don't know like their algorithm for deciding how many people you can invite, but you can invite other people who you think will enjoy the application. So you'll click invite, and then it'll send them a text message saying, LaKesha has invited you to join the app. Make sure, one, that the person has an iPhone, because it's only going to connect the invitation to the phone number that you send it to. So they can't use that invitation with a different phone. So you guys see, like, one of my suggestions is Regions Bank. Like, I'm not sending Regions Bank an invitation because this is probably like not anyone's personal cell phone number, and they're probably not going to respond. And once you use your invitation, you can't get it back. So you want to make sure that you invite people that you know would be interested in actually being a part of the app. So you might want to send them a text message first and say, hey, I have an invite for Clubhouse. Do you want to join? And they might be like, oh, I'm already on. So that means they might have joined with a different phone number. So you want to make sure that you ask that question before you use your invites, because like I said, once you send someone an invitation, then you can't take it back. So, and then the other thing is, like, if someone wants an invite from you, then you need to make sure that you have like their personal number in your phone. So some people say, okay, text me your number so that I have you in my contacts, and then you can send them an invitation. So it's going to show you the people who you have their number in your phone to send the invite to. So what else can you do? You can start a room. Okay, so you're like, all right, I'm feeling this Clubhouse thing. I feel like I can do this. You can start a room. So you can start an open room, and that means that it's open to anyone who wants to join. You can start a social room, which means that it's only open to the people who are connected to you. Or you can start a closed room, which means it's only open to the people that you invite to be a part of it. Or you can start a room within one of the clubs that you're a part of. So let's see, we have Boss Babes Love Brunch. So like, let's say, I decide I want to have, a Boss Babes business plan session. Then I can start a room under this club. And so once I start that room, everyone else who is a part of the club is going to get an invitation to be a part of the conversation. So that's why you want to be selective about the clubs that you're a part of, because you're also able to create rooms within those clubs. But then, like I said before, you also see the rooms that are within that club. And this is kind of how it happens. So once you decide what type you want to start, then you'll be able to add your topic. And so this is going to be like the description. So you see the description for women in business. They have coffee and conversations. So that will be your topic that comes up. if you don't add a topic, then it's just going to look like an open room. So you always want to let people know, like, what are you talking about? Because otherwise they're not going to come in. Make sure that, it's something interesting, that people will be like, oh yeah, I need this information, and not, just something that is obscure and people are just like, wait, what is that? Because then you're going to end up with weird people in your room. So you want to make sure that you are using topic descriptions that connect. I'll say that. And then once you are ready, then you click let's go and you are live. So there's no like, let me get myself together. Once you click let's go, then your room is live. And it's usually a good thing if you're planning to start a room to invite or to let a couple of people know that you're starting this room, and to invite them to come into the room with you. So you can send out, like a message to, maybe 3 or 4 people that and say, hey, I want to start a Clubhouse room. Do you want to come in with me? And they'll be like, oh yeah, sure. Because what you don't want to do is start a room and you're in the room by yourself. Like, I've seen some of those rooms and it's just like one person in there. And usually if there's only one person in there, it's kind of intimidating for other people to come in, because then they know that you're going to want to talk to them, or you're going to want them to come on stage. So having a couple of people in the room, encouraging them to invite other people to come into the room, so that you have, a nice little mix of people to have whatever conversation you want to have with you. You can also schedule a room. So like, let's say, you have like this great idea and you don't want to do it right now, but you want to have it. So last night we had a pre-con conversation for the digital summit, just to get on, introduce people to some of the speakers that are going to be a part of the conference, and to answer any questions. I think 2 or 3 people from the pre-con last night are actually registered for the event because they enjoyed the content that we were sharing. They connected with the speakers that were on there, and they're like, yeah, I'd love to come to the conference. And so they're actually here with us. So you can schedule your event. So you put your event name in, of course. You can add co-hosts. So if there's someone that you want to co-host with you, then you can put them there. So that way, when the event shows up, then it will actually show the other people who are participating. So again, that's a great way to build your audience, because you don't want to find yourself in a room by yourself. So usually if you schedule it, invite a couple of people to co-host with you, especially people who have like a following, or who have people who are engaging with them. Then, of course, you can set your date and time, and then you can put the host club. So again, that's if there's a club that you want to connect your event with, then it will show, then that list will show up here, and you can select one. And then you can also add a description. So you want to give people an idea of what you're going to be talking about in this session. So this is where you would put that description. And then once your event is scheduled, you'll have the option to post it on Twitter. It'll give you a link to set up a calendar invite, and then it'll give you a link that you can share. So if you want to post it on Facebook, like, hey, I'm going to be live on Clubhouse tonight at 8 o'clock, here's a link to join, then you can do that as well. Because again, it's kind of pointless to start a Clubhouse room and you don't have any people who are actually in the room to have the conversation with you. So if you guys have any questions about Clubhouse, I think this is the end of the slideshow. So do you guys have any questions about Clubhouse or how you can use it? Then feel free to either ask, or I'm assuming, Tanya, do you want to be added to the stage? Because I see you're sharing your audio video, so we're about to find out. So if you guys have questions, then feel free to post them, because I definitely want to make sure. I want to stop our share. I want to make sure that you guys have an understanding of what Clubhouse is, and then we're going to talk for a couple of minutes about strategy. So we don't see any questions so far. So strategy. So how do you want to leverage Clubhouse for your ministry? You want to think about what are some of the conversations that you're having. So you could do, maybe a Bible study, on Clubhouse. So if you're, having a Bible study, you want to open it up to more people than just your congregation, you can do that. I think Brandon had a Facebook Live that he was doing with some of his brothers, and if I'm not mistaken, they had a session on Clubhouse where they were doing similar to what they were discussing on Facebook Live. So if you're already having like those types of conversations, you can also have them on Clubhouse to expand your reach, because unlike Facebook, where only the people who are connected to you will see your Facebook Live, once you're in Clubhouse, you have the potential to reach new people. You have the potential to expand your community and find other people who are interested in the topic. Chuck said he just downloaded the app and started the process. So if it doesn't let you in, if you're on the wait list and I see you, then I'll definitely add you. So you can, like, let's say you have like a podcast topic, but you're not quite sure you're ready for a podcast because you gotta, actually get it downloaded and you gotta edit it and you gotta go through like all this to find a platform to host it. So if you're not ready for all of that, but you want to test out your concept to see if anyone is interested, Clubhouse is a great place to start. Find some people that you're interested in interviewing. It can be about ministry. So like, let's say you're interested in talking about ministry in the digital age. And so you want to do a series of conversations. You can start that on Clubhouse. Find people who are interested. The interesting thing with Clubhouse is the normal duration of a room is around an hour and a half to 2 hours for maximum kind of exposure, I guess would be the right word, because like the first 30 minutes or so, you're probably not going to get a lot of people. It's really weird the way that works. I've joined some rooms where like the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you're like, wow, like we might as well wrap this up. But then around that 30-minute mark, people start coming in. By an hour, like it starts getting good. So if you decide to host a room, like plan for it to be like an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's not one of these, kind of quick, like 15-minute conversations, because it takes a while for people to see that you actually have the room. So that is one of the cons of using the app. One of the pros of using it is, unlike going live where, you got to check your background, you got to check your lighting, you got to, make sure that you got your lipstick on and your hair is right. But Clubhouse is audio only. So people can't see you. So you can be anywhere doing anything, looking any kind of way, and still be able to go live. So that is one of the bonuses. And I think that that has helped a lot of people who have been wanting to kind of put themselves out there, but they're just like, I don't think that I'm ready. Like, I don't have the background. I don't have the equipment, yada, yada, yada. Well, if you have an iPhone and you're able to listen, then you're able to speak. So I think that has broken down the barrier for a lot of people who are really knowledgeable and have expertise, but they might be camera shy. They might not have the equipment. Clubhouse kind of levels that playing field. And it also allows you to, share the stage with some really amazing people that you might look up to. I know, some people have been in the room with, I can't think of her name, but I think it's like Sarah Jakes Roberts' sister. And I might have butchered her name, but she's done like a lot of rooms and, been adding a lot of value to people. As I said, with like real estate investing, like there's some people who are like billionaires in the real estate investing game, and they get on for like a couple of hours with some, other real estate investors and just answer questions and share knowledge. So if you're really looking to expand your knowledge base, this is a great platform to do that. But it's also a great platform for you to share your knowledge and to establish yourself as an expert. Because if you're interested in expanding your ministry to offer services or coaching or consulting or any types of programs, then this is a place where you can find people who are interested in investing in what you offer. So I think like that's Clubhouse 101. It's a lot. But again, if you have questions or if you need an invite to get into the app, then just let me know and I will definitely get you in. I know a couple of people who have some extra invites. So if you're interested in just getting in there, playing around, then you can do that. And again, it's one of those, no pressure. You don't have to go on stage and say anything. You can just, listen to conversations. I think I've only started one room. I've probably been on stage less than 5 times in the past 2 months, but I've got a lot of value in it. Monty Weaver, the guy who just did the YouTube session, found him through Clubhouse, and he added so much value just based on the rooms that I was in with him. I invited him to be a presenter. Catherine Storing, who's doing the courses session, I found her through Clubhouse. So people are really interested in connecting that are on that app. It's not one of those things where it's just like, oh, you know, I'm so big, like I don't want to talk to people. Usually like they're there because they want to add value. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I can think of. I think that's it. So if you guys want to take an early break, we will be starting the networking in about 5 minutes. And if you're on Clubhouse, connect with me. Why didn't I say that? I totally forgot about that. Like, that's what Monty said. Like, why my YouTube isn't growing? He's like, you don't ever tell people to join your YouTube. And I was like, that's a really good point. Like, I never like post like subscribe to my YouTube or anything. So if you're on Clubhouse, make sure that you follow me. That would be wonderful. But so you guys enjoying the summit so far? When is I don't know when it's going to be available for Android users. They said that it's going to take a while because they have to hire more developers to actually develop it for the Google, not the Google, for the Android platform. So I don't know when it will be available on the Android platform. So that's why, you know, some people, if they have an iPad or a MacBook, then they're just using that for the to be able to log in. And I think like you can pretty much do like all the same things because it's mainly just being able to listen and to speak. I think you can do that. Yeah, so what else? And they do have like a lot of new releases, so they are constantly working. They have a town hall with the founders every Sunday, I think, where they talk about, you know, what's coming next in the pipeline and what they're working on. So they're very responsive. And the app just came out like maybe in April, and they've already just like been, you know, become like a major player in like the social in the digital marketing space, just because like so many people are getting on and contributing. And it's like you can go in rooms, and I think like I was following Joe Budden at one time, which was like really weird because like they would be on like legit like from like 9 o'clock in the morning until like maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm just like, who has time to be on Clubhouse that much? So that is a warning. It can be addictive because you can go from room to room and just, you know, be finding value, having great conversations, stay in one room because the conversation is so juicy. So you definitely want to make sure that you're monitoring your usage. But yeah, doing a little brain search to make sure I covered everything. So who's on Clubhouse? Let me know if you're on Clubhouse already. So you guys can follow each other. So if you're on Clubhouse, let us know. Chuck said he just downloaded the app. I know Brandon is on there. Let's see, anyone else? All right. All righty. Well, take a break. Networking will be live in 5 minutes, and then we have our afternoon sessions. We have you're hogging all of your invites. We have our afternoon sessions with Lauren, who's going to be doing branding, Keisha K. Reynolds, who is going to be talking about graphic design, and then Natasha Brown, who is going to be talking about publishing. So I'm going to turn my camera off. If you guys want to ask any questions, then I will leave the session open for the next 5 minutes, and I will see you guys at the wrap up at 1:45. Yeah, at 1:45, and we have some giveaways, so make sure that you come to the wrap up. It's gonna be exciting.